Here we go. All right, we are live. Super excited for this live podcast broadcast. Welcome to Wine About It. Today is going to be our Crystals edition, and I have the lovely Karina del Pezo with me, and I'm super just like elated to have her here. So, Karina, would you take the time to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for allowing me this space. It is an honor to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You already said it. My name is Karina del Pezo. I am an advanced crystal master. I am a metaphysical teacher. There's many things that I do that I'm certified in as far as energy healing and doing all kinds of spiritual work, but the ones that I lead with the most are my crystal healing and, of course, my magic. So I'm also a mom of 4 and a wife. So.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I am super excited. Okay, so I am pulling it up on my phone so I can see as comments come through. So, hey, Valerie, good evening. Thank you for joining us. If you are inside the Conscious Creator Facebook group and you notice that there's like a friend of yours that's not on live, please like invite them and tag them. Make sure that they know that we are here so they can get their questions answered. Otherwise, you're probably listening on the like YouTube channel or podcast. For those who are just now like getting to know me, I am Tiara, aka T, the Wine Diva. I work in the realm of wine, and I also love dabbling into spirituality, witchy awesomeness, and I am now getting into the world of crystals. And over the last like couple of months, I think I have 10x'd my crystal collection, all because of Karina. And I love all of the goodness that you have to offer. And especially with like things that are going on in like the world right now, you know, yesterday was kind of tough. So it was really nice. It's really nice to have different things to kind of rely on and touch on. So to get started, why are crystals so magical?
Oh my goodness, why aren't they? So many different avenues or perspectives. I can get scientific and geeky on you. We can talk about the spiritual side or all of them. So their magic works in so many different ways. Physically, or I should say scientifically, um, our bodies are always trying to, for the most part, trying to heal, right? And they don't want to be, our bodies don't want to be sick, right? Our spirit doesn't want to be sick. It wants to be in harmony. And so it looks to match the frequency of that, whatever it is that we're lacking. And that's where crystal healing comes into play. So as quick as I can possibly explain this to you, everything, as you know, everything has energy. Everything vibrates at a different frequency, right? Our bodies all vibrate at different frequencies. It fluctuates. Our liver vibrates different than our heart, vibrates different than our third eye. Okay, it vibrates different. Happy, when we're in love, when we're sad, when we're grieving, it all shifts and vibrates. Crystals, on the other hand, they have a fixed composition, or they have a fixed vibratory rate. And so when we're vibrating, let's say when we're vibrating quote unquote low, our body will naturally gravitate towards something that's vibrating high. So if I'm holding this chrysocolla, my body's naturally going to try to entrain itself to the vibration of this crystal. So that's how, scientifically, that's how crystal healing works. Magically, why they're magical, because they help us raise our vibration or lower our vibration. For example, if you're very hyper, you don't want to use a crystal that's going to get you more hyper, like carnelian. You're going to want something that's going to ease that down, maybe like lepidolite. And so they allow for us to change our physical body, our mental capacity, our emotions, right, in a way that doesn't harm us. So there's no side effects when working with crystals. And we have such a wide, extensive varieties of crystals. So it's a win-win. You can't lose working with crystals, and they're beautiful. They're just gorgeous. So
Yes.
yeah.
They're so pretty. I love them. So crystals, gems, is that the same thing? Is there a difference between like precious and like semi-precious? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna get too into that because it's it varies really as time changes. We As we change the value of what a crystal costs, it'll kind of change the category. So, for example, a crystal that is precious is typically a diamond, a ruby, a sapphire, diamond, ruby, sapphire, and emerald. Semi-precious stones would be something like agate, like opal, amethyst, moonstones, jade. Those would be considered semi-precious stones. Um, as far as what gemstones are, they're basically any crystal, any organic matter that has been processed or that has been faceted,
Mm.
polished for jewelry making. So that's
Okay.
gemstone is. The precious stones, I already gave you the four, and then anything else is considered semi-precious, and that is determined by the cost, if that makes sense.
Ah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Okay.
That does make sense. I got that. Thank you.
So,
Um, so what are some different things that we can use crystals for?
girl, everything. Absolutely everything. If you're talking physically, every symptom that you possibly have. So headaches, trying to get pregnant, raising your libido, reducing anxiety. I know that's fun. Reducing. Yeah, I mean, sex is a great thing. We all need it, right? But
Yes.
something super healthy that a lot of people are afraid to talk about or embarrassed to talk about. So crystals are definitely something that can help with that. They can help with people that have blocks, when it comes to speaking, people that are trying to, free your meridians of any blockages, people that are trying to access higher knowledge or open up their psychic senses. So you literally can use crystals for everything. I don't have anything that I can think of off the top of my head that you can't use a crystal for.
I love it. Ah, they're so magical, for lack of a better word. So how did you get started in crystals and the metaphysical world?
Well, I come from a long line of geologists, so crystals are not new to me. My family has been working with crystals since I can remember. They're in the petroleum business, and so we've always had crystals around. When I was a little girl, my nona, I would get a lot of migraines. A lot of the women in my family that are gifted experience a lot of migraines, as well as things with their throat. But that's a whole nother story. My nona rubbing my temples with amethyst, and then burying them. So I've had exposure to that. So it wasn't called crystal healing. It was just something that we did. It's the same thing with like hoodoo. It's something that we practice, but we didn't call it hoodoo or anything or magic. Like we didn't say I practice magic. That's just what I do. That's what our ancestors taught.
Right.
Natural. And so that's where it began. Later on in life, I've kind of pushed it to the side. I wanted to explore different things and quote unquote be normal, which
Where's the fun in that?
totally didn't work out. And I actually had my first awakening, or the first time that I realized that I was on the wrong path was when I actually had my oldest son, Lucas. And he's a natural gifted medium. And so I kind of forgot about these things. And when I started talking to him as he started getting older, he started bringing me crystals. My first amethyst was
Oh,
done, yeah. And ever since then, it just, he was the one to kind of push me to remember and come back to my,
mhm.
yeah.
I love that. Um, those of you watching, if you have questions that pop up, please go ahead and drop them in the chat box. And yeah, so we're gonna go with what crystals do you recommend beginners like start with?
I will always say clear quartz. That's number one. Clear quartz is
Mhm.
king of all crystals. Scientifically, it's been proven it's no longer woo woo that that clear quartz can give off energy and take on energy. So we use it in our day to day. Like a lot of people don't realize that your LCD TVs are,
Mhm.
watches, a lot of your devices, and so on. And because they're able to hold memory and give off energy, I have people work with clear quartz. So clear quartz, amethyst, of course, because that's all about your higher chakras. And usually when people want to work with crystals, it's usually that they're suffering some sort of health issue, which stems from a spiritual issue, or they're just trying to.
Mm.
So very simple, clear quartz, amethyst, and of course you want something grounding and protective. So you can use something like smoky quartz or black tourmaline.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. I think I have like all of those.
Good. Now, if not, we're gonna up definitely.
Yes, yes. Because those of you who are hearing before Saturday, we do have a show going on in the co-op, and I guess this is also a good time to just naturally say that a lot of my free content is going to start merging into the co-op. So be on the lookout for that, friends. And yeah. I'm now losing my place on the list of questions that I have because I came up with these questions like over the course of the week. I was like, "Ooh, I need to ask Karina this. Ooh, I need to ask her this. Ooh, I want to ask her this." Oh my gosh. So are there any books or programs that you recommend for those who want to start like developing a crystal healing practice?
Oh, crystal healing. There are so many books, so many books. I really like books written by Hibiscus Moon. She's actually one of my
Mm.
or was one of my teachers in the past. She's very knowledgeable. What I like about her is that she has science to back things up so that you know why it works. I like to know the why, as well as everything else. Judy Hall has fantastic books. I have tons of them. I've got a whole library of books here. But the number one thing that I would recommend is to work with them and journal. That's the most, you're not going to receive knowledge like that. And until you start using them yourself, you're not going to understand their energy because it's not just about reading what they're for. For you, a specific mineral might work and it might not work for me. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
onto, let's say, your throat chakra, but it actually affects my solar plexus. So you're not going to know these things until you grab one crystal and you work with it. And when I mean work with it, I mean meditate with it, hold it, sleep with it, and jot down what happens as the weeks go by. I would say minimum of 3 weeks, one crystal, and see what happens. And then move on to your next crystal.
Ooh.
Work, work,
That's
work.
good to know. Like a lot of work. And I'm like, oh man, because I definitely just got really excited. I was like, oh, this is pretty. Oh, I need that. Or that sounds like something that I need to work with. And then I have a collection and I'm like, I probably should spend some time in journal and like hang out with these a little bit more.
Sorry about that. I completely lost the volume there.
No worries. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. It's all good. So how do we determine whether we're like should be like holding a crystal or just like in its proximity, that kind of thing?
It doesn't. Okay, so I'll be honest with you. Your body's designed to react to everything that's around it. You know this already, right? And I can give you a million examples. Um, but I want you to, when it comes to crystals, and this is why, yes, the books are important, but trusting your body, trusting your intuition is.
Mm.
And so if you want to hold a crystal, hold the crystal. If you feel like, hey, you know what? I want to sleep with this crystal tonight, that's exactly what you should be doing, regardless of what anybody tells you. There's a reason why that crystal's calling to you. There's a reason as to why you look at it and you go, oh my goodness, I love it. It's so beautiful. Look at it. And I'm going to take a million pictures and post it all over social media. And once it's done giving you its medicine, you'll notice that you still think it's beautiful, but you're no longer as attracted to it as now the new crystal that just came in, right? And so when you're deciding on how to work with it, just go with it. And again, journal it. So this is what happens when I put it on my third eye, when I put it on my throat chakra, when I put it on my chest, so on and so forth. If let's say you have a pain, let's say my shoulder, and all of a sudden you go, I wonder what would happen if I placed that crystal there. Put it there and see how you feel. There is no rule when it comes to these things. It's just listening.
I love that. Listen. That's definitely like a huge lesson of 2020 for myself. So, and I'm sure a lot of other people have had that. Great time for reflection. So, okay. So we're moving on into kind of a different territory and a little bit, I don't know, maybe controversial. I don't know. Let's see how people take it. But so I want to talk a little bit about like crystals and religion. So as I've been getting more spiritual and kind of tapping into different rituals and being more open about like what I enjoy doing in my spare time, different questions have been coming up, and like family and other people kind of curious as to like, well, how does this tie into like I grew up in the Christian faith, and I grew up in a Baptist church, and people are like, well, that's, you know, the Bible says witchcraft and da 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 is this, that, and the other. And that's a whole nother topic that we're not going to get into today and my thoughts on that. But I happen to have a moment where I'm on TikTok, and I did this TikTok yesterday talking just kind of how I had my rhodonite. And I was like, I really want to tap into forgiveness and love and compassion right now with everything going on in the country. And, you know, I had this little like minute-long thing spiel going on, and someone commented that they were like, you don't need rocks, girl, you just need Jesus. And I was like, hold up. Let's talk about this for a second. And I was like, oh, Karina, I'm gonna have her like see, like I want to hear her opinion on this situation as well. I've already responded to the person on TikTok, and if you want to see what it is, you can go over there to see that. But
I'm gonna reposition myself here.
Go ahead.
I'm always sitting on my legs. So that's a common and a very interesting one. First of all, crystals are mentioned in the Bible so many different times. I don't want to give you a specific number because that kind of slipped my mind. But if you Google it, or if you want to open up the Bible and look for specific minerals after you've Googled where they are, they will tell you the chapters in the Bible where they're mentioned. So crystals aren't mentioned in the Bible as something evil. If anything, they were used to adorn specific kings and people. They were used to write on specific rules, Christian rules, and so they actually were used. That's one. Number two, if you believe that God and Jesus made everything, then they made crystals too. They're here for a reason. We are children of the earth. We're born into the earth for a specific reason. And medically, when you look at your body, you actually have every single mineral, which means you are indeed made of crystalline matter, which is why crystals work for us, right? When we're using them. And so if you believe in God, then I hope you would believe that God would put things here on earth that would help us. Right?
Yeah.
And it's not like you're worshiping the crystal.
Exactly. Oh, that's such a beautiful way to explain it. I love it.
The way I tell people too is, for example, a painter. A painter doesn't worship paint, or an artist, I should say, doesn't worship paint or a paintbrush. He needs the paintbrush in order to create that beautiful canvas. It's the same thing with us. If you're using crystals for healing, they're a tool to get you to where you. That's it.
Yes. Beautiful. I love it. It's even like, I just think what came to me was just like, well, like the Bible is a tool so you can utilize to learn and feel closer to God and, you know, closer to your faith. The same can be for the crystal, of closer to yourself, your source.
Google it. There are many different kinds of crystals that were actually used and written about in the Bible. It's very interesting.
I love it. Ooh, I'm gonna look it up. Thank you. So you had mentioned earlier, like sleeping with crystals is a great way to kind of like bond with it and get to know it a little bit better, see how it like connects with your body and how you align with it. So I was talking to somebody else, and we were talking about how they felt like different crystals kind of help them sleep better, and sometimes it will kind of keep them from sleeping and like interrupt their sleep. So I was curious because I have had I've had my like labradorite tower that I got from you, and what is this? I think it's black opal, or like all like sitting on my little bed thingy. I have like a little dresser that's like behind my head, and so they were been sitting there. I think a mermaid calcite, and my rhodonite. And so I was just wondering, because like I feel like lately my sleep has been restless, and I'm like, I wonder, could that be affected by like I have just too much crystal going on in my bedroom, or is there something else that could be happening?
It definitely can be. Let me just also say that when I say sleep with your crystal, it is for better quality of sleep. It is to help you heal. When we're sleeping, we're not necessarily thinking like we are and acting like we are right when we're awake. And so this gives the crystal the perfect opportunity to really be able to clear your energy and really start the healing process, right? You're not fighting whatever it is that's going on, right? Sorry, Santiago. My son's behind the computer. Um, but certainly when it comes to the bedroom, I always say less is more. You don't want to have too many crystals in there, because if you're very sensitive, if you're an empath, which I know that you are, then you will pick up on the energy of the crystals. It's sort of like they send you too much energy, and it can disrupt your your sleep. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for better quality of sleep, I always say selenite. Selenite, you can go around with it. It's really good for pain as well. So putting like a selenite plate or a piece of selenite underneath your bed is fantastic. Things like angelite, like celestite, are fantastic for your bedroom. But perhaps the black opal, I think, is great. The rhodonite, if you're sleeping next to it, it might be something about releasing and forgiveness. I don't know if that's something that you're working on, but it may be something
Mm-hmm.
kind of moving energy around. You can also talk to the energy of the crystals and just say, "Excuse me, sweetie." You can also say like, "Hey, you guys, like tonight I really need to rest. So can you bring that energy?" Or you can always put them in a different room and see what happens. And if sleep is the same, then bring them back in, and try to figure out what's going on. Journal, 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 journal.
Love it. Okay. I like that talk to your crystal. Like I talk to my tarot cards. So
It's true. I mean, they do. They're smart. You don't need to program every single crystal. They know what their purpose is. But certainly, if you say like, "This makes me uncomfortable," like bring down that vibe a little bit, like tone it down a notch. It works.
I
Sure.
love it. That's good. That makes me feel so good. I love that we can, there's like flexibility, and and everyone's so unique that we can all have different experiences and practice differently, and play. And I hear play when I think about this. All right. So I had a couple of questions that I like posted in the group. And so I want to take some questions from them and share. So first off, Angela Kay, our intuitive coach here, she says, I'd love to hear your thoughts on crystals you'd recommend for both the age of Aquarius that we just moved into, as well as for the year 2021, for anything that's on your radar.
Oh man, kind of like a whole list of crystals. Um, I would say, I would say for sure, selenite would be one of them. Absolutely. The reason why is selenite is very clearing. Um, Selenite is a crystal that we can use when we're stressed out, when we need a good clearing, when we physically need to cut any kind of energetic cords. And by that, I mean, you know, our everyday stresses or everyday things that happen, but also relationships, right? So 2020 was such a challenging year. I don't know what 2021 is going to bring to us. It's going to be very interesting. I feel that it's going to be a year that is going to reveal a lot. 2020 was for us to kind of see a lot of the things that need change, a lot of and including internally, right? We had this time where we were quarantined, and we still are. And so what are you using your quarantine time for? What things need to change, what relationships, so on and so forth. So selenite is one of these crystals that supports you through that transition, but also helps you to release those energy cords, helps you elevate, and it raises your vibration, so you're closer connected to your spirit guides, angels, beings of higher dimensions, connected, so on and so forth. So selenite for sure. Something like larvicate, definitely, that helps us work on our shadow, shows us light where it needs to be, super protective. Um, Also, aquamarine is definitely one that's coming,
Ooh.
allowing people to speak their truth. They might have been very hush and very scared, you know, in 2021, and now they're using the push. I'm sorry, 2020. Now they're using that push that we're getting in 2021 to actually start speaking their truth and so on. Gosh, there's just so many. Another one that definitely came through for me was Septarian was definitely one. Grounding energy, but also using all of the energy of our ancestors. It's a crystal that's about 2 years old, using that to move forward. I have them right there. That can help you, honey. So yeah, those are some of the crystals. I can definitely do a post on so many more.
I love it. Yes. So something that popped into my head, I was so as funny as it sounds, does size matter? So when it comes to like the crystals, smaller like tumbles versus, just a really large, don't you have like a huge like rose quartz in your office?
Yeah. I have them all. I have rose quartz. Oh, I have them everywhere. I mean,
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Size does matter. Ooh, when it when it comes to crystal, size definitely matter. So tumbles are fantastic because they're inexpensive, right? And we can carry them everywhere we want. We can make beautiful grids out of them, but size really does matter. The bigger it is, the more energy it's going to give off, right? But it doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just means that you might not be receiving the energy. If your tumbled crystal is like, in the other room, you're probably not going to feel it. You probably need it, versus having a big tower. The good thing about that is if you pair it with something like clear quartz, it's going to amplify its energy. So something, let's say like moldavite, which is so expensive, right? And you have a little piece like this, you can pair it with a piece of quartz, and now that energy is amplified. So if it's too small for you, you can always hack it and pair it with a quartz, and you're good to go.
There you go. Yes. Love the hacks.
Yeah.
So I have a question from Jenny, and she asked, what healing crystals do you suggest for neurological issues?
For neurological issues, I'm going to say selenite too. I'm also going to say lepidolite. Um, I'm also going to suggest seraphinite. Um, and also, give me 1 second. There's one more crystal that's coming in for her. Sorry, when I'm asked these questions and I'm in someone's energy, I literally see pages being. For her, it's what's the name? What's the name? I can see it. It's black. It's shiny. It's pretty.
Obsidian?
Give me. What is the name? Please help. I can't think of it at the moment. I'm gonna write this down and see if it'll, and I'll get back to her. I feel like it starts with an S. I already said seraphinite. I said selenite. Hyperstein. There's an S in there. So there's a crystal called Hyperstein that's being called to her specifically, but also again seraphinite, selenite, and lepidolite.
Beautiful. Awesome.
And
Thank
if
you.
you're welcome, if she wants to, Jenny, you said right?
Jenny, yes.
Jenny, if you want to send me like a direct message, I can type these out for you and tell you why that came up for you.
Awesome. Wonderful. That is so cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I want to talk a little bit about crystals in business. And so one of the questions, I think it was Angela Kay and I, we were just like chit-chatting in Messenger, and it came up about like writing off crystals for business. So like for you, do you get to like tax write off your crystals, anything that you keep for yourself?
Yeah.
I love it.
For everything. Because they're tools. They really are.
Right.
For my business. So yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So what crystals would you recommend for entrepreneurs? Like, is there like a set that you would kind of like gear towards?
Yes. First of all, I would have you kind of assess your energy and see what
Mm-hmm.
feel you need as an entrepreneur. Do you need a little bit more, push, a little more confidence, so for the most part for entrepreneurs, I'm going to say again, clear quartz, I'm going to say something like citrine, which helps us with connecting with others, brings joy, fantastic, financial abundance, confidence, right? It's that fire energy. Say pyrite, which is that masculine gold energy, right? That energy of the sun, to have you be seen, have your presence be there. Malachite, which is a stone of leadership, it's also a stone of finding your passion, right? If you're going to be an entrepreneur, I hope you're very passionate about the things you're doing because it's not the easiest job. So malachite for sure. Things like rubies. Rubies are not rubies, emerald. Emerald,
Oh,
passionate kind of a thing, but also for financial success. Cinnabar is also a fantastic one. Cinnabar is one of these crystals that you don't want to put it in your mouth. It can be very toxic. But as an entrepreneur, we're constantly reinventing ourselves and finding new ways of making money. And it's definitely a money magnet a lot of people don't know about. And then lastly, I'm going to definitely say ocean jasper because it's Santi, you want to come here? I'm sorry. My son's having there and my husband's unavailable. I understand, sweetheart.
Get the t-shirt thing, but I thought it wasn't anymore.
Okay.
The people thing.
I'm sorry. It's okay. Go have Shisha. Ask Shisha to help you with that. Ocean jasper. So ocean jasper is very I'll show you what it looks like. So ocean jasper is very grounding, right? We want our ideas to be grounded. We want to really be in our bodies when we're doing all these things as entrepreneurs. But again, it's also a money magnet, something that only people that have worked with this kind of an energy know about. And it's also very healing for the body. Oftentimes entrepreneurs, we get sick, because we're doing so many things and we're but our mind is like way over here doing 20 million things and like I'm gonna do this and that and that and the list and this and that, and on a schedule. And so this helps you to come back into your body and receive those messages grounded and then help you push forward and manifest whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So for sure.
I love that. I love it. That's awesome. I'm like, I need to go grab my ocean jasper real quick.
It is amazing. A lot of people don't know it. Work with it.
I love it. So right now, I want you to talk a little bit about because I know you just announced your crystal spells and rituals, and I've got to say, like Karina mentioned it, like I don't know, a couple months ago, and I was like, I want to be in it. I want to do it. I want to do the thing. I don't even know what's gonna happen. And so, like when I saw you posted, like earlier, was it this week, last week, that it was like open? I was like, yes, finally. So can you explain a little bit about what the course is and how people can get involved if they would like to?
Sure. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Magic is everything to me. Crystals are everything. Ritual is something that I'm passionate about. So I get to do it all within this course. It's just a really exciting program. If crystals are your thing, if you love crystals, if you want to learn more about different forms of magic and how you can incorporate it into your everyday, some of the topics that we're going to be talking about is, of course, financial prosperity, of course, clearing. People have so many questions as far as what spirits are and entities and how to clear your energy and how to set up protection and all these things. And people think that it's just like we're gonna light some smudge and we're good. Like there's so much more that's out there and so many different ways of doing it. We're gonna have sex and love magic. I'm gonna tell you right now, sneak peek. I haven't told anybody because information's still coming in, and I always kind of change the programs and add more things to it. We're also gonna have within love and sex magic is all gonna be yoni magic. I'm gonna call it. So we are create our own yoni blends, and I'm going to teach you guys how to steam. And so that's really important prior to doing the sex and love magic. So really excited about that. candle magic, all kinds of candle magic. um Divination, of course. What else? There's a lot. It's a lot, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Everything is hands on, so that my goal is, by the time you leave me, you won't need me. You know how to do all the things on your own. And so that's my goal, that I have everybody there, everybody does the work. Santi. And that you're ready to go.
I love that. Melissa says that her clear crystal is cracked in half. What should she do?
Well, that's actually, it depends on how it cracked. Do you need help fixing it? Like, you can glue it back together. It's still going to work the same. Crystals do break. They're not perfect. And depending on how it broke, it's going to tell you its message. So if it broke while you were using, if it fell on the floor, things happen. If it fell out of the blue, if you just noticed a crack, it's because it's doing its work. It's taking on the things that you don't need, and it's correcting the energy. And so when crystals crack, when they change color, in crystal healing, it's a good thing. We know that they're doing their job, and that energy is no longer with you. You can certainly just clear it and continue to use it, or you can clear it and give it back to Mama Earth, which means you can plant it, in the ground, or one of your, plants indoors, and give it a little rest for a while, or leave it there.
I love it. Pooji says that she will always meet you.
She's so lovely. Thank you, Pooja. I love you.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I will never let you go.
Oh no, I want you guys there with me all the time, and when I finish a program, it always makes me sad. Like, I try not to cry on camera. I'm like, yes, we're good, and then my husband will see me. He's like, but it's okay. They're really not leaving you. You see them all the time on Instagram, and I'm like, I know, but it's not the same. Like, but I know. I mean, I want everybody to develop their strengths, to really stand in their power, and I love getting messages like, oh my goodness, this manifested, or I was able to do this. And it's so satisfying knowing that came from that program or that lesson.
Yes, if you guys are not in the Incantations Facebook group, I totally recommend it. You have to. There's just so much good, amazing content in there. I think I just went through the your major arcana videos and just like went through that. And I was like, ooh, this like really helps me. And like the way you broke it down to showcase, like, and like talking about the visuals and all of the imagery and all, it was just awesome. So I highly recommend just utilizing any of Karina's tools because they're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And of course, join us in the co-op on Saturday, 2 p.m. Is that Pacific time? No, wait. 2 p.m. Central time, noon my time for the show.
Yes, that's going to be amazing. And it's going to be a lovely live gem show, but I always like to explain the crystals before we sell them. So there's a lot of knowledge and just being there. You don't have to buy anything, just be there and soak up all of that knowledge, and make some friends. And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun.
It's fun. It's a party. I love it. So is there anything else that you would like to share about the world of crystals or whatever it is that you're doing and working on?
Anything about crystals, just use them, have them. They're pretty, but please use your crystals, please give them a chance before you put them away. Crystals do help us, but we need to also do the work, so grab the crystal and use it and write about it. And if that doesn't work, grab the next one and just have patience. Some people are super sensitive and they can feel crystals out. And then some people take a little longer to be able to feel that crystalline energy. So don't give up. Work with your crystals. They're not going to hurt you. There's nothing but goodness. Just don't eat them, please. Don't eat your crystals. Put them in your mouth or places that they shouldn't be in. And yeah, as far as my life, nothing. Life is sweet, magical. I love living. It's such an amazing world.
Oh my gosh, you just like brought up a question about and saying don't put them in certain places. So can you like talk a little bit about, because I see yoni eggs, since I know you're going to be doing a little bit of sex magic and crystal spells and rituals. Is there like a recommendation for what kind of crystals to get? Because I see different kinds, but never sure like what's the right one.
You're never gonna go wrong with using rose quartz, ever, ever, ever. For the most part, all of the crystals that are yoni shaped and used for your yoni are they are non-toxic. So you can use anyone that calls to you. If you're going to purchase them, I would suggest that you purchase them from a coach, a person who is knowledgeable, who can maybe spend a little time with you talking to you about why you want to use the yoni crystals, what your overall goal is. And so this way, the person can pair you with the appropriate crystal. But if in case you get one that you might not have thought you wanted, because sometimes I do pick intuitively, just go with it. Just use the energy. Sometimes the crystals that we're put off by are the ones we actually need. We're resisting the healing. But if you're going to pick, rose quartz will never hurt you. I mean, it's just a very lovely crystal to work with. And it's very, very healing. Like if it helps you through a breakup, a broken heart, when you lost somebody, it's going to help with all kinds of trauma and help you release fear, for sure.
Ooh, that's good. I love that.
Mhm.
I think that's a good place to end on. So for anyone listening, watching, thank you so much. Oh, Melissa says, how do we clean crystals?
So the easiest way to clean a crystal would be with any kind of herb that is clearing. So typically a lot, especially in the United States, we see white sage that can be used. You can use Palo Santo, you can use rosemary. You can use any protective herb to clear your crystal. You can also, if you know energy healing, you can do something like Reiki. I wouldn't say wash it simply because not all crystals are water friendly. But if you want to be very, very safe, you can just go ahead and clear it with herb. If it's a crystal that's not very bright in color, you can leave it for the sun to clear it. You can also leave it for the moon to clear it. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. And I'm sure you're going to learn more about this in the Crystal Spells and Rituals course if you take it.
Absolutely. There's just so much. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to start. I'm like, it's a lot. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So I hope to see you guys there. And if you have any questions, of course, drop them in the chat. We will definitely help you out. And I will also drop our Linktree links. So I'm going to drop Karina's first. So it'll have the links to the Incantations Facebook group, as well as how to join the class. And I think there's like one other thing that's on there.
Incantations.co.
Oh yes, incantations.co. So you don't have to join a live show to get awesome crystals. You can just go straight to the website and see what's there. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All righty. So thank you so much, Karina, for joining. I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening, and thank everyone for joining and watching. And of course, sharing is caring. If you know anyone that has any questions about crystals or anything like that, or you just think that we're freaking awesome, please share this out. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Bye. Cheers.